So it might not look like it right now, but there is a lot going on at the Brighton Tools factory. This is only one of 2 truck depots that we have, and this is the depot that is shipping all of its tools down to the southwest of England. And as you might be aware, we're doing that with trucks right now because I figured it would be the better way to do things as opposed to setting up some train lines. But I'm kind of looking at this and thinking that maybe some train lines wouldn't be so bad, especially when it comes to Plymouth right here, which is pretty far away from Brighton. And it also happens to want machines, which we do have a factory for right here. We just don't have the materials for that factory anywhere close. Well, we do have a steel mill, but we don't have everything we would need. My point being, I kind of want to set up a train line, and I want to see if we can turn Plymouth into a machines powerhouse. But I also want to take a minute and have a look at some of our existing tools to city lines that we have in here, because, well, even the planks to tools line is one we can look at. We're using the MAN 19.304 tarpaulin truck for this planks to tools line. We do have some new vehicles though. If we go in here, we can replace these guys with something like the 40-ton, well, truck with side stakes would be perfect for a bunch of planks. The cargo capacity of one of these guys is 17. This thing, the 40-ton truck, has a cargo capacity of almost double that at 30. So I think swapping these out might be a pretty good idea. I would like to take a look at the rate of this line. It is 653 right now. We'll keep that pinned. 19 million to swap out 35 vehicles is a lot, but if we do that, it gives us a rate of, I'm assuming, over 1,000. Yeah, almost double what it was before. So now we can go in here and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm willing to say like 15 of these guys could be sold. And I'm willing to bet that brings us down about, yeah, just to roughly where it was before. So we're getting rid of about half the vehicles on this line. We're moving just as much stuff as we ever have been. That's going to be good for traffic. I mean, that's part of the reason that I want to go through here and do all of this. That's why I'm looking at trains as an option here, because it probably would be a little bit better for us if we use trains for a lot of this stuff. So this line right here, the Cambridge Tools to City line, 181. Swap it out for this guy. It gives us, I'm assuming, yeah, 267 is not bad. Let's get rid of 5 of these and see what that does in terms of the rate. 178. Okay, let's put one more right on there. I sold one more. Let me put 2 more right on there, and that brings us up to a nice total of 195. So still fewer vehicles, a better rate. Let's go through the rest of these lines, and we'll do exactly the same thing. And so this is now what we're dealing with. They are much, much bigger trucks than we had before, but hopefully they're going to be able to move everything around kind of nicely. And I mean, it does look a fair bit more modern, which is fair enough. It is 1990 now, which is not too far away from when I was born in 1993. Hopefully we remember to keep that in mind once November 1993 comes around. But this is good. This is something we're probably going to want to do just about everywhere with all of our trucks, but I don't know if I want to focus on that today. Although I do want to make sure that we are moving as many logs up to planks as possible. So let's manage these vehicles. We have 17 of them. Let's use this guy to make sure this is efficient. 917 right now. That, of course, is going to come down quite considerably because we are only ever producing 800 logs from Bournemouth East here. So we'll sell 7 of these vehicles, which gives us 959. If we sell 1 more, does that bring us down to about 800? 860. That's about good enough. So 9 vehicles on there as opposed to 17 is going to be better for traffic in this space, and hopefully around this roundabout as well, because it's not really doing so good right now. And I'm really hoping I don't need to put another interchange in here. I'm trying to avoid messing with traffic. Anyway, when it comes to Plymouth and Exeter down here, I kind of want to build sort of a distribution center, and I kind of want it to be close to this forest because I'd like to take some of these logs up to the Brighton sawmill because this guy's getting maxed out. Keep in mind, it's a 2-to-1 ratio, so 2 logs to 1 plank means that 1 forest producing 800 logs is only ever going to be 400 planks. If we look in here, we have a rate of 708. So we could double production down here, and we might need to for the amount of tools that we're trying to make in this way. This tools factory could, I mean, it is a 1-to-1 ratio, so if we can produce 800 planks, we can make 800 tools, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I could use trucks to bring those logs up to the Brighton sawmill, but I think trains would probably make a bit more sense. So we'll go in here, we'll get ourselves some terrain tools, and we'll just get a nice strong brush, a decent brush size, and I'm going to just flatten out a whole bunch of this. And we're going to try and build ourselves some kind of distribution center that is going to work the way I want it to for trains and trucks, because the idea is I want to bring stuff up here as well, or down here, depending on what way you're looking at it. I want to bring stuff into this location and then deliver it into wherever, Plymouth, whatever, the Exeter's the other one. The tools basically could be brought down here by train instead of truck, at least brought to here and then taken by truck into the two towns. I think that would make a little bit more sense and give us, you know, shorter lines for the trucks to be running on. So it just seems like kind of a win-win across the board. So what we'll do is get ourselves the regular old 2-lane country road that we've been using just about everywhere. I should also mention, actually, that obviously, I'm sure if you follow the channel a little bit, you'll be aware that I took a bit of an extended break from this whole YouTube thing for a little while. The last episode of this series, the one, well, before this one, was the last video I recorded before I decided I was going on that break. That video was recorded for me like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So if I'm gonna be honest with you, if I said something at the end of that video about like, in the next episode we're gonna do this, and I've completely forgotten about it, then I do apologize. But that's why that would be the case, because it was a few weeks ago that I recorded that one, and that's kind of what's going on with me. Now for this space, I've just had a thought, and that thought is that it might not be a terrible idea to go in here with some one-way roads and sort of just build a little something that kind of loops around here, because this is going to give us just a little bit more traffic control that we're going to be after, because we are probably going to be sending a decent number of vehicles into this space, both to drop stuff off at the train terminal and also pick stuff up. So I think doing it this way is probably for the best. We can put the train tracks just up here, and that should be totally fine. We are going to need some kind of truck depot in here, so we'll do a truck station maybe on this corner. I think that seems like a decent spot, or even in here. Maybe just before that corner would be a good spot as well. We could do one over here too. I'm not really against the idea of having a handful of truck depots. We could do them sort of off to the side here. It looks kind of interesting as well. I don't really know. Hadn't really thought too much about where to put these things, I'm going to be honest with you. I do think that corner is pretty solid because we can sort of build it towards the forest itself. So if we just extend this guy a little bit, we can get ourselves a decent number of platforms in there, actually, which is pretty good in my humble opinion. And you know, I think for the time being, this is going to be about perfect for what we're doing here. Obviously, we can come in and smooth things out and detail things in just a little bit, but I'm going to try and get the bones of this entire thing up and running first. And I also kind of want to just change out this road a little bit because it's it's not the prettiest looking, is kind of where I'm coming from with it. So let's just go in and see if we can't just improve things a little bit for this road. It's probably going to end up being kind of busy at times, I would imagine, with the number of vehicles going back and forth. So hopefully this actually works out for it. We'll do a little S-band right about there. I think that looks pretty good. And that just looks a little bit better. This entire road might have to move for the train tracks to come through here, actually. But I'm trying to not interrupt it too much for the time being. So the first line we're setting up here is, by all intents and purposes, going to be a logs line. Although we do also, I hadn't thought about this. We do also need to bring planks down to the machines factory. So we can potentially set up a train that's going to bring logs from this forest over to this sawmill and then bring some of those planks back to the forest to get loaded onto trucks to get brought down here and turned into machines. So that kind of works out, actually. That'll work really nicely. Although that does mean that we can't send 400 planks up to the tools factory, which means we're not going to be making 800 planks. But we'll figure that out is what we'll do. We'll come up with a solution for that at some point. Although I'm slightly concerned by the fact that this entire area is quite hilly. I don't love that. I do not love that. I'm kind of looking at this space or maybe some kind of terminus station as like kind of a dedicated drop off for whatever we're bringing in here. So let's have a look and see. That doesn't actually, oh wow. That is carving out so much of that terrain. I don't love that at all. That's not great. I could put it right in there though. And that seems like a really good spot for it, actually. That seems like the perfect spot for it. So I think that is where we're going to build this station. Right about there. It's really, I really couldn't ask for a better spot. So I'm okay with that. I don't mind that at all. Now, in terms of tools, we could get a little line to bring some planks up towards the tools. I think we're okay with not doing that for now. What I would like to do is, do I want to do passenger lines in here? That's another question we have to figure out. Do we want to do machines to Bournemouth by truck? And does anyone over here, you guys want machines as well? You guys want machines? London wants machines. Okay. We might need to do like a little distribution center over this way as well that brings machines up maybe towards the tools factory. So maybe we do end up doing something in here. Oh boy. This is going to get a little bit, it's going to get a little bit complicated, I think. Well, possibly. Let's take out this road. Let's take out this road completely for a second, because what I'm wondering is if I bring this right back to there and then we go in and some way, somehow we take out this road as well. Oh, I don't know about this, but we're going to see if it works. I want to go from here in a nice straight line to about there. We are going to connect this guy back out to that road because it needs to be. And that gives us a relatively decent little right angle in this corner. And that's kind of what I was looking for. I do want to take out this connection just for a second though, because I want to make sure that this is actually a right angle that we're dealing with. And that's kind of where I'm thinking we could put some trains. It's sort of in this corner. So if we got ourselves a terminus station and we said maybe 4 platforms for this guy, it's going to need a slightly longer section of road, unfortunately, but this is kind of where I'm thinking we could get away with this. Or rather, I guess it doesn't need, now that I think about it, it doesn't actually need 4 platforms from the jump. I can add platforms to it. And so that way I think I can get a smaller station into this corner, which I absolutely can. So that's kind of my, that's my thought process on placement, right? I don't know how it's going to connect to everything, but my idea is that some way, somehow, we use this station to bring machines up here, and then we have trucks that pick up machines and take them to Brighton, Canterbury, and London. That gives us a bit of distribution. We could maybe drop them off here by Bournemouth and take them into Brighton and Bournemouth itself while we're dropping off. It'd be a separate train line that, you know, from the one that brings the logs up here, but this might work out. This might be okay. Obviously, this being a terminus line means that we're going to have to loop up and kind of connect everything together in a weird way, but I think that'll be okay. I think we'll figure that out. I think we'll manage is what we'll do. So let me get a slightly smaller terrain brush right here. And what I would like to do is I want to level all of this terrain right. I kind of want it to go down is my thinking. I want to have this terrain be quite low down here. So hopefully I can send the trains over this road. I'm not 100% sure that we're going to be able to do that though. I'm slightly concerned about the idea of being able to do that. So let's get this to be a little bit lower. We'll bring this around and it's sort of going to come down here. It might have to go a little bit sharper and then it comes around and it's just going to go and meet with this other road. I really don't know if that's going to work, but we're going to try our best to make it work. So I need to go from this little bit of road under here and bring this guy through. I sort of need it to go down and stay sort of low. So to about there should be fine. We'll do something like this as well. So we have a nice little straight section. Connect these guys together. I've got the game pause. Oh, I do need the game pause while I'm doing this actually. let's do this, and that'll be the section that the train goes over, hopefully. Does that come around okay? It kind of does. Maybe this could be a little bit longer as well, just so we have a slightly more uniform bend there. I think that looks better. And then this somehow needs to connect together. Now, I guess what we could do is bring this sort of down and then up, so it kind of has a weird curve to it, but at least that's gonna work, I guess, is how I'm looking at it, I suppose. All right, so it turns out this actually does sort of work, which is good. I do realize that this might not work too well if we have a bunch of platforms in here, so I'm kind of hoping I can get away with not having too many platforms. I'm also keenly aware that we might end up with a level crossing here, which I don't love, so we might end up going into some kind of tunnel or something like that. Or we're gonna end up with a tunnel or a level crossing. I don't know which, but it's probably gonna be one or the other. Or we could bring this down and extend this bridge, but that's again going to give us a level crossing. You know what? We'll worry about that when the time comes, which admittedly is probably going to be very, very soon while I figure out where everything gets connected to. So I suppose what we do then is we'll go in here and figure out where the train lines are going to go. Now, we are dealing with more powerful trains than we've ever dealt with. As time goes on, we get more and more powerful trains. So I don't know how concerned I am with the terrain itself, to be completely honest with you. So I think we start down here, and I think what I'm going to do is just bring this sort of straight out, because I do want to try and make this a relatively high-speed line, at least as much as possible. So we'll bring this guy out in a nice straight line to about there. I want to curve it around as much as I can while maintaining a good degree of speed. Sort of heading in this direction I think is fine to sort of go around Bournemouth. We do have some hills here that we might be able to play with a little bit as well. So bring this sort of straight in this direction as well. And we need to sort of go through this hill as much as we reasonably can. So if I just drag this out, it is not thrilled with me. I don't love that level crossing, but we can probably sink that road down and make that work. We have got some bridge stuff going on in here. It is also just not full speed, which kind of bothers me. 166 though is not bad, but it could be a little bit better. So let's maybe, what is this connected to? We're not going to be using this, so let's take this out for the time being, and let's see if we can get something that's going to be, yeah, 186 kind of the entire way through. We'll bring that terrain up so it's just that little bit faster, and we'll sort of just bring this the entire way up and around this. And that's pretty quick the entire way, which is what we're looking for. So we'll go ahead and build this. We are, I don't know if we're losing money or if I'm just spending a ton of money. I really have no idea. But you know what? This line is hopefully going to make a ton of money. That's going to be the goal here. Okay, so the tracks are in place, and I'm going to be honest, I'm really excited to see some trains going over the top of this roundabout. I think this is going to look really cool. This kind of reminds me of that one roundabout that I built in City Skylines 2 in my first city, just the train. It's going to look really good. I'm really excited about it. I also put the tracks underneath this this bridge, which, I mean, yeah, I figured we were going to do that. So pretty much everywhere, in fact, I think just about everywhere along this line, we have avoided level crossings. We're either sending the roads underneath or the tracks themselves underneath, and that's kind of something I think we're going to need to continue to do to make sure that this can run nice and efficiently. So what I think we'll do is set up a new line that's going to run from here, and it is going to run down to right about here. And this is hopefully going to use the tracks the way I want it to, which it does. This will be train cargo. It is, I guess we'll call it Bournemouth is how we'll do it. So Bourne, M-O-U-T-H, Bournemouth, and it can be logs to planks. And I guess technically it's to machines, even if we're not doing that right now, and that should be okay. I think we can get away with that. This line can be, I don't know, let's go for green, I suppose. We haven't really got much green down this way, at least not in terms of trains. So that should be totally fine. Over in Exeter, we're going to be loading up on Logs, we're going to be unloading planks if and when we get to that point. In Bournemouth, we're going to be unloading logs. We're not going to tell it to load up on planks just yet because we don't need them, but eventually we can, and that's kind of okay. I'm also going to say that maybe in Exeter, minimum stop time is going to be 2 minutes. Maximum stop time is going to be maybe 4 minutes, just to make sure that it loads up. Maybe a minute, just to be safe with that one, and that should be all right. And then what we can do is go to this train depot and get ourselves a new locomotive. Now, we have got some options, of course. We do have catenaries in all these lines, so we could go electric, and I'm kind of thinking that's where my thought process is right now. We do have to be mindful of the fact that we are only going to be hitting 75 miles per hour with our trains because of the cargo wagon max speeds. So as much as we could use a BR212, actually no, the BR212 is probably what we are going to be using. As much as we could use a BR103, you know, it's electric, 124 miles per hour. That's good. It's just a little bit unnecessary. It's also $30 million versus this guy, which is fine. This thing will do just fine. So let's get this guy in here. I want to go for like a dark, that sort of dark gray. And then for the flat cars, we'll go for, I like this color. I think that'll kind of work out. And just to get things started, let's go for a capacity of 130, just shy of 200 meters long. That should be totally fine. That's going to move our logs back and forth. It's also $16.4 million, which is just over half the price of that one locomotive in the electric category. So this should work out nicely. Also, yes, I was stalling for the autosave to finish. So let's go ahead and buy this guy. Let's put him on the logs, planks, machines line. Ooh, what is the ICE 1? I'm assuming it's a passenger locomotive, or it's probably a multi-unit. Yeah. 174 miles per hour. We also have these guys. I do want to play with some of these on some of the Manchester to Scotland lines and the Manchester to London lines. I think that'd be pretty cool. I do want to look at this guy as well. It is a decent looking train. Do we have logs starting to build up down here? We absolutely do, which is fantastic. Hopefully production here, it says we're shipping 400, so I would imagine this is actually going to work out really, really nicely. So I think while this train gets going, let's start figuring out how we're going to make steel, because I do want to make machines, and I'm kind of thinking that the Bristol coal mine is going to be perfect for this, as well as the Bristol iron ore mine just over this way. I'm also kind of thinking that maybe what we could do here is bring this road straight through a little tunnel underneath the train line here. So if I just bring that down a little bit, that seems kind of perfect as far as I'm concerned. And then I'm sort of thinking we just bring it sort of straight to here, and then maybe kind of around this hill a little bit, or through it works as well. But this is sort of the connection I'm looking for. Maybe not quite exactly that. This might actually just all come back a little bit, and then we can bring this guy. Well, what if we try and flatten this out a little, just a little? That's a little. That's a little bit of terrain editing as far as my standards of terrain editing in this series have gone so far. We'll bring this back a little bit. We'll bring it back a little bit further, and then bring this around. And I think that's pretty solid. It's a decent looking tunnel. I do like a tunnel. So we'll hit this with some smoothing, and that's going to be a way for traffic to sort of get into Bristol from a side of Bristol it wasn't able to get in on before, which is probably for the best, because that's kind of where I'm going to be bringing my my iron trucks through. So we'll see how this works out is what we're going to do. We're going to see how this works out. I'm not 100% sure that it's going to work out the way I want it to, but we're going to figure that out together is what we're going to do. I also think this is maybe all going to get taken away just a little bit. Can I get this to look a little bit better? I think that's okay. I think I can work with that. We'll go ahead and upgrade this road as well. We'll hit this with a bit of a smoothing brush, and then basically all we're going to need is some kind of truck depot in here. So we'll go for a regular old truck depot, 2 platforms left and right, and we'll do the usual thing where we have the trucks picking up from both platforms, and I think that'll be good. Down this way, we're going to build ourselves a little section of road just so that traffic can kind of do what it needs to do I guess, is the way I'm looking at it. So we'll put this guy at the end of that road. And we might want to play around with some asymmetry in here for some turning lanes if we have the space, which we certainly do. So a little bit of asymmetry there, a little bit of asymmetry there, and I guess a little bit of asymmetry there. And that's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. We could do something like this, but I think we'll be fine with this for getting traffic in and out of there. I do wonder if we should maybe upgrade this road a little bit, even just to something, again, asymmetrical, just so traffic has, you know, one left turn lane, one, you know, straight on lane. That seems like a pretty good shout as far as I'm concerned. We'll just do it this way so it has some sidewalks on it, because I think that's probably for the best as well. And I'm noticing instantly a lot of traffic going that way. So this, I mean, this is going to end up being a main road, isn't it? Yeah. That is going to be a much faster connection from Bristol to Exeter and Plymouth than going through Bournemouth. So this road, I suspect, is going to get really, really busy, which is fine. We'll we'll figure that out is what we'll do. Let me just upgrade this road down this way as well. So this guy gets swapped out. Let me flatten some terrain here a little bit, because we're going to need a decent looking truck depot for this space. I'm kind of thinking, ooh, how do I want to do this? I sort of want to line it up there, and I kind of want to do it at an angle, specifically because I can see like the angle of this building looks pretty cool. So I think it'd be kind of neat to have the truck depot do the same thing. And then maybe a bunch of platforms on the right side. Because what we're going to be doing here is one platform for picking up the steel, and then no, hold on, we're going to need 5 platforms for this, maybe. Or do I just do a separate depot for, we could just do a separate depot for picking up the steel. That would also be an option. I think that's what we do. I think a separate depot in here is going to be for the best. So let me bring this over, and let me bring this straight through here, if that's going to be an option. I'm not too sure that it is, but we're going to figure this out together as we usually do. So this is going to go to here. This is going to go to there. And then we take out the extra parts, and these guys are now sort of in line. So this is going to be our drop off. This is where the iron and the coal is going to be coming in. And then for the steel going out, it's going to go onto, it's going to be going here, is my thinking. Can I get 2 platforms in this? Unfortunately, no. That would have been really cool if I could, but we should only need 1. So that'll work out. I think that's, I mean, it's neat looking. I don't know if it's really serving any purpose other than being kind of neat looking. So I'm sort of okay with that. I can extend some of these down, which I'm going to, just to sort of fill in a little bit of that space. I think that's about far enough. It looks a bit weird. I'll be the first to admit it looks a bit weird, but you know what? It's okay. That's just the way it is. It's a little bit weird looking. So I suppose when it comes to the lines down here, we want Exeter Central to go to both of these platforms. This will be the coal line coming down here, and we want to go to, I guess, platform 1 and 2 at Plymouth East. So road cargo, this is, I guess we'll call this a Plymouth line just because it's easier. And this is coal to steel is what we're going to say that one is. Plymouth does have some lines down here already in orange, so we'll go ahead and use orange again. And then we'll say that at Plymouth East, we are loading up only on coal, and that should be totally fine. All right, so just like that, we have all of our lines set up. We have 2 lines coming in with iron and coal. We have 1 going out with steel all the way down to the Plymouth Machines factory. We just need to set up some lines now that bring planks back to this depot in Upper Exeter. So what we'll do, this train is full, by the way, and making money, which is amazing. And this place has a ton of logs sitting around. So instantly, I think what we can do is duplicate this. I think another vehicle in there is a solid idea. And then what we'll say is that in Bournemouth, we are going to load up on planks. I think it's about time that we start doing that. We'll start bringing them back and forth. And all we realistically need to do is create a line that goes from here in Upper Exeter all the way down this way. We'll call it another Plymouth line just because it's easier. So road cargo, Plymouth, and it is planks to machines is what it's going to be. So we'll get that in orange as well. Now that is going to go to platform number 2 down here in Plymouth West, which should keep things okay. Let me just have a look and see what these lines are doing. So you're going to platform, okay, so steel to machines. Have I by any chance got this going to multiple platforms? I think I do, and I don't want it going to multiple platforms because we have one coming in with steel, one coming in with planks. We'll have one going out with machines. We'll probably end up with more because Plymouth itself does want machines, but we're also going to send them up to the train at some point. So for now, it is going to be just the one, and I think that's fine. If we look at buildings and we look at truck unload stops, it is this northern part of Plymouth that wants the machines. So I'm willing to say that we could just do a depot in here, and that might be the best way to maintain a bit of control with the traffic somewhere down the line. So I think a depot right in there seems like a pretty good bet for dealing with traffic around here. Then all we need to do is go new line once the game's done auto-saving, and we bring that up here into Plymouth transfer. We'll call it road cargo Plymouth, and it is machines to city is how we're going to look at that one. It is going to be orange, of course. And at Plymouth West, it is loading up on machines. Over this way, it is unloading whatever it's carrying, and that should be fine. I imagine it's going to be a little bit rough for traffic through here, but that gives us now a full set of lines. So let's start looking at some vehicles and figuring out what we're actually moving. So the steel to the machines factory can be on a truck with side stakes. Let's buy one of these. Let's paint it sort of a steely blue color, and that is going to be steel to machines, and that'll get that line up and running. The tarpaulin truck is my only real option for the ores and whatnot, so we'll buy one of those. We're going to paint it in sort of an orangey iron ore color, and that is going to be iron to steel. The other one is going to get painted in sort of a dark color, and that is going to be the coal to steel. So that should be the steel production now going, essentially. Obviously only one vehicle and we have to do some math, but that's okay. That thing is solid as far as I'm concerned. The next thing we need to do is figure out moving planks down to the machines factory. Now, admittedly, we could use the truck with the side stakes, but if we're going to use this same line to get machines back to the train, which I kind of want to do, we'll need a tarpaulin truck. So I think in this case, since we're moving planks and machines, we'll go with that. And I think color-wise, we'll do, let's just do yellow. Let's go for a yellow in here just to be different. And that'll be our planks to machines line, which is great. I don't think I got a truck for the actual Plymouth delivery, did I? No. So we want to buy one of those. It's going to be another one of these guys. We'll go for, I want to go for like this sort of very, very light purple, pink kind of color. And that is going to be Plymouth Machines to City. So now everything should be up and running. If we go and have a look at this guy, it is producing. This guy is producing as well. We should see some planks get loaded onto these trains at some point, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I'm hoping that we do. If we look at you, consumers, that's, wait a minute. I did the wrong, I did the wrong line. It's, we don't have a line to, wait, what am I, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I've just gotten slightly lost somewhere. Wait, what are we doing? What are we doing here? This one. Right. So, yeah, we're good, actually. I just had a senior moment. We're fine. These guys are set up to, they can move planks. So details, yeah, they can move planks. That's fine. We just need this guy, consumers. We're looking for this guy, the Plymouth Machines Factory. It is shipping 9 down there right now, which is good. So that's all right. So yes, we are going to see planks get moved down to the machines factory. We're doing fine. Everything's okay. Crisis averted. Let's start working backwards a little bit then. So these guys have a demand of 109. If we look in here, this is a rate of 58. So duplicate this, and that now solves that rate problem. We will have enough machines coming into Plymouth. This guy is producing 400 right now. So let's get this rate up to 400 so it can deal with all of that. So 35 goes to 69. Nice. We'll have 69 go to 138. We'll do that again to bring this up to close to 300, 276. And we'll just do 2 more, bringing us up over 300. I would assume another 2 should bring us pretty close to 400. That's perfect. So 12 vehicles to move all of that coal and turn it into steel. That's exactly what we're looking for. We want to do something similar over this way. So a rate of 20. We are going to be dealing with more vehicles, of course. That's totally fine. Not super worried about that. We'll bring this up to 80, which is good. Let's get another 2 in here, which is fine. The math on this is perfect. Let me actually sell one of these. Let me grab these 5 vehicles. And if I clone these 3 times, I mean, this should go to 200 with another 5 and more or less. Another 5 should give us close to 300, probably 298 is what I'm suspecting, 299. And one more should give us 398, I'm assuming, 399. Fair enough. Let's do one more just to make sure it is above 400, so nothing's getting left behind. That way they stay relatively even. And that's fine. Now, the rate that we have to keep in mind when it comes to steel is it is 2 to 1, or it's 4 to 1 technically, but 2 iron, 2 coal to 1 steel. So with 400 iron and 400 coal coming down here, we can maintain a rate of about 200 on the steel. So this guy gets cloned again, and cloned again. And that's hopefully going to give us about 220. That is more than enough. So we're now able to fully saturate things with our current setup. It just depends on how much, production Plymouth really wants and or needs. Also depends on how much or how many planks get loaded onto these trains, which thus far is not very many, unfortunately, but that will turn around eventually, I'm sure. All right, so a lot of the road infrastructure is in place now, and we do have trucks coming through and bringing a bunch of coal down to Plymouth to be turned into steel. We have some trucks coming through with some iron as well. It has taken a bit longer than I would like for this whole thing to get up and running for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is traffic has been a nightmare around this roundabout. So I've gone around and made a few small changes. We have another road that goes in towards the top of Exeter now to try and take some of the stress off of this roundabout, because this was and sort of remains the main connection from Bournemouth and the rest of England down to Exeter and to Plymouth. So I don't think we've actually had any machines made yet, but we'll get there, I'm relatively sure. What I do know is that we have a ton of logs sitting up here. This guy is producing 800 right now. So I want to go to these trains, and despite the fact that we are still losing a ton of money, I'm going to go in here and take a chance by doubling the number of trains on this line so that we can hopefully move just an absolute ton of logs back and forth. This line is making money, which is good. So my theory is that it might continue to do that if we are moving close to 800 logs back and forth. I'm also relatively sure we could get this up to 800 if I was to put another wagon on some of the trains. So if we manage the vehicles and I look into each of them and I say, you know, maybe cargo this thing, that color, we can add it to one of them here and there. So maybe just add it to all of them and hope for the best. This is going to cost me a grand total of 3.7 million, but that gives us 831 on the rate, which is exactly what we're looking for. So that should work out really nicely for us. And that's kind of perfect. That's kind of what we're looking for. I am burning through money today, but I'm relatively sure it's going to be okay. I'm relatively sure it's going to work out. I have also made some changes to these depots in here. And what I've done is set all of my trucks to wait until they have a full load of coal or iron. They're also set up to go to any of these platforms. So there is the potential, if this was to be moving more than it is, for trucks to be kind of backed up and waiting for a bunch of coal or iron. That's okay. I figure maybe having them wait in here and, you know, rather in there than on the road is kind of my thought process. Whether or not that works out, I really don't know, but I'm curious. I'm also really hopeful. Yeah, we do have some steel going out now. Okay. Like I said, we're starting to see some progress here. We might actually see some machines make their way into Plymouth, which would be amazing. And obviously, we want them to go beyond that. We want to get up to Bournemouth and Bristol and so on and so forth. Still not 100% sure how we're going to do that. But I do know that machines to London, Canterbury, and Brighton are going to be coming out of this guy right here. So let's figure out what that's going to look like, because I haven't really figured that out yet. And I think that's something we should do. I'm kind of tempted to just put this in here, to be totally honest with you. I could get away with something like this and just have 2 platforms per delivery. That seems a little bit unnecessary. Maybe just something like this would be the right call. Just something that we can bring some trucks into and send them off to London, Canterbury, and the other one. I think that's what we do. So this area might become a nightmare for trucks, but I do love having a whole bunch of depots in here. I also kind of want to move it a little bit because I want to make sure I can get the whole, like the curbs around it, the buildings and all that stuff. So let me just customize you with this guy. Let me do this down here and maybe one of those as well. Can I get rid of you and put another big building in there? I cannot. Okay. So this is going to live here, 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 and here. I don't think I can do anything with the left side of this unless I put another platform on there, which we don't need. But I do want, because I can do this with it, and I just think that looks, I guess that looks better. I don't know that it does, actually, to be completely honest with you. Maybe we take out the rightmost platform, and maybe that's okay. I think that's okay. I think we can work with that. Maybe a little small building just up there, for the hell of it. And I think that's okay. I think we can work with this. I do. Now, when it comes to machines into London, who wants the machines is my question. It's usually industry. It looks like a couple of little teeny tiny buildings in here want some machines. So I think we're going to do some platforms is what I think we're going to do. I think right in here, it seems like a good spot for this guy right in the middle of London. There's not too many machines wanted in London, which is fine. Down in Canterbury, it looks like there's a nice cluster of buildings in this way that happen to want machines. So this guy could live here. It doesn't have the greatest coverage, though. I want to say that road maybe is where I'm thinking this could go. That might not be the worst spot in the world since it's relatively central to a lot of the buildings that want them. Not 100% sure on that coverage, but I'm kind of thinking that's where it's going to go, just because I think that's a little bit easier. And then when it comes to Brighton, there's a really, really solid demand for machines in here. So I'm kind of thinking right there in the middle just about covers everything. So that's where that's going to go. And that should be totally fine. So we'll set up some new lines. We are going to be going from here. And that is going to be going from Brighton North right down to what I'm assuming is Brighton, well, Annex. That's fine. A bit of a weird route that it's taking to get around, but I suppose that kind of makes sense. Let me just rename this to Road Cargo, Brighton, and its machines to City. And let me just paint this thing orange for a second so I can see what it's doing. Or maybe that color so I can see what it's doing. Yeah, it is taking... I can't really tell what it's doing. Hold on. What is this? What is it doing? It's going up that way. Oh, that's really interesting. Why is it doing that? So what route is it taking to get in here? It comes down, comes out, goes down here, goes down here. It goes up and around, which is really odd. And then it goes in and then it comes back out this way and just cuts along. I mean, I know I have some weird routes in here in general, but this is definitely an odd one. What if we were to make some slight changes to this road? What if we were to bring this sort of out a little bit flatter? What if we were to extend this road to here, bring this guy sort of straight through? I would like to kind of just redo this incline so it's nice and level, and then connect this up to here. I know I've sort of got these all separated for a variety of reasons, and I know that there are risks to traffic that come with what I'm doing here, but I'm also trying to keep in mind that part of the solution, I think, to some of my traffic problems is giving them more options. So giving them options here might not be the worst idea in the world. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I do feel like, you know, you can now get off of this road, go down and around and hit this road. I don't know. I feel like it's a better option. Looking at this line, it is now doing exactly that. It is much, much shorter and much more direct. So I think that's kind of the way we're going to do it. I also love that color. I'm just going to say it. I kind of love that color. I do want to use it somewhere. It was what? This one? I mean, Brighton is a bunch of yellow lines, so we're not going to be using it, but I do like that color a lot. All right, so the demand for machines in London is 48. So if we go to the London Road Depot and we just zoom in a little bit, we can buy some vehicles here. We're going to be just using the tarpaulin trucks. Let's go for 2 of them, and let's paint them in, I want to say this color, and let's put them on the London Machines to City line, which now has a rate of 94. So one of those probably would have been just about okay for this, but that's fine. Canterbury has a demand of 59. So if we don't actually have a road depot in Canterbury, and I also want to fix that terrain just a little bit because it's kind of driving me nuts. So 59, let's go and get another 2, maybe just for the sake of argument, 3 of these guys, and we'll do the same color, and we'll come down this way. And what we want to do is put it on the Canterbury Machines to City line, which should now be good. 191 is a lot more than it needs. So I'm actually going to get rid of one of these guys because that is way too much for that line. One of those would actually be completely fine, but we'll just leave it be for now. And then Brighton is going to have 128 as its demand. So we'll go up here. We're going to grab another, I'm going to say 2 of these guys just to be safe. We'll go for the same color, and we want to come down and say that they're going to be going on the Brighton Machines to City line, which now has a rate of 163. So we're doing pretty good on that particular front. We have those lines set up to do their thing. We are going to need a train to start bringing machines from this station to, well, that other one, basically. So we do have machines in here, which is great news. That's actually very good news. We have planks to machines already set up. So this is going to be the line that's planks to machines to train is what we'll call it. We want to manage this line and say that at Plymouth West, you are going to load up on, well, you're going to be unloading planks, loading up on machines, and that'll be fine. At Upper Exeter, you are going to be unloading machines. So it's already set to do what I need it to do, which is fantastic. If we look at our consumers, we should see those other towns get listed in here soon enough. Obviously, the problem is that we just need more steel and we need more planks, but we're getting there. And that's kind of what's important. I'm also hoping that we start to see this thing. 838 is pretty good for that rate. We're seeing a little bit more in the way of planks come through here as well. It's still making money, which is fantastic as well. And traffic around this roundabout, for the most part, is moving. So I think what's slowing things down, in complete and total honesty, is just it's like playing a late stage game of City Skylines. That's basically what's going on. The game is just kind of going at a crawl. We're at 3 times speed right now. This is how slow it's moving. This is 1 time. So there's no difference between the speeds, unfortunately. It's just how these games tend to work, man. It's just what they do. It is unfortunately just what they do. So here's what I'm thinking we can do right now. Obviously, we need a train line that is going to go from Exeter over towards Bournemouth or whatever it is, the other one, with machines. So let's set up a train line that is going to go from here. It is going to go all the way over towards Brighton. That's the one I was thinking of. Over to Brighton, and that's okay. It is train cargo. It is, we'll call it a Brighton line just because we're here. This is going to be machines to depot, which is fine. But then we could do tools to other depot, basically. Because what we can do is start loading tools onto a train to bring them all the way down to here, to bring them into Exeter and Plymouth, so we don't have truck lines going all the way from here down that far. That seems like a really good idea to me. We could even take them up to Cardiff if we wanted to, but this seems like a really good way to set this up. So let's make this a yellow line just because we can. And let's say that in Exeter, you are loading up on machines. You're going to be unloading tools. And then in Brighton, you're going to be unloading machines, loading up on tools. And that should be all right. Now, what I would like to do is maybe say that in Brighton, because we're going to be wanting to bring down a good amount of tools, you are going to load any, and you're going to wait for about 3 minutes. We'll do the same thing here as well, just to be safe. And I'm hoping I can get away with this. So tools and machines, I don't remember if they can go into the same type of wagon. I'm hoping that they do. They do. They go in a boxcar, which is kind of fantastic. So I don't really know what the math is going to be on this. I haven't really thought too much about that. I'm thinking we just get a cool looking train. I'm thinking we just do a bunch of boxcars. We can have up to 300 meters on this thing. I think we'll go for a capacity of 195, 208, 221. Can I get 260? 260. It's almost 300 meters long. It is a very expensive train, but I'm sort of okay with that because it's going to be like the only one that we have going along here. So, you know what? Maybe we bring it down just under 200 meters because the signals on this line are 200 meters apart. So this might actually be the better way to go, is just under 200 meters for now. So we'll buy this. We will put it on this new line, and we're going to hope for the best with this one. That should be the key to getting this thing, this factory down here to actually consider, yeah, Canterbury, London should get factored in there at some point as well. So we should start to see this guy providing machines for the, other part of England, basically, is my thinking. So that's going to be really, really good. I've also got these guys in here just waiting for planks to come through, which is completely fine. They're totally chill to just sit there for now. I'm okay with that. We have this guy coming through with some planks, which is good. So that will get loaded onto some of these trucks, or one of those trucks, and that's all right. And of course, we have the new train coming out right here. It looks pretty good. Kind of happy with this one, hoping for good things with this. I'm really hoping this whole machines production thing works out, because it does mean, like I said, we can come up here and we can say that maybe we don't want to go to Plymouth and Exeter with trucks anymore, which does mean that this depot here is basically useless, is what I'm realizing, but that's maybe okay. That's so I don't think that's the end of the world. In fact, I think what we'll do is manage this line, manage these vehicles. Actually, we can sell those. We can go to the Exeter line. We can manage those vehicles and sell those as well. We'll go into our line manager, and we want to get rid of the Exeter line and the Plymouth line, because now what we can do is set up some lines to bring tools from this depot over here into Exeter and Plymouth. So what we'll do as well is go in and manage this guy and say that now you are not going to be going to every platform in here. Platform 5 and 4 are going to be restricted to tools, which I think is totally fine. We can go and set up a new line from here, going from platform number 4, and it's going to be going into Exeter. Now, where exactly in Exeter it's going, I don't remember. Whereabouts do they want tools? That's going to be the real question. It is largely over here, with a little bit of demand up that way and a little bit down here. So I guess all 3 of these truck depots are going to be set up for this, which is fine. So we want to add a station. It is going to be, I guess, here, here, And can I get one over there? Do we want to go maybe to this one first? Yeah, that works out pretty well. So that is road cargo. It is Exeter. It is tools to city, which is totally fine. We'll make that. You know what? We'll go for that really nice color that I really enjoyed from earlier, and that seems pretty good. We just need to do the same thing with Plymouth now. And so now, if we take a look at the demand for tools in Plymouth, it's 144. If we get ourselves one of these trucks, we can go ahead and paint it in just white. I guess is totally fine. Put that on the tools to city line. That gives us a rate on the tools to city line of 43. That's a lot less than I thought it was going to be. That's a lot less than I thought it was going to be. That's fine though. We can put, I guess, 4 vehicles in this line, and that's going to be more than enough for Plymouth. And that is still fewer vehicles than we had before. So that should be fine. That's a lot less in terms of vehicles than we had before. Exeter has a demand of 134. So if we go to Exeter and we maybe look at this line and keep it pinned, we can get some of these guys. I'm just going to buy, I'm going to say 3 of them, and I'm going to paint them in that color that I really like, just because I think it's pretty good. And we'll say Exeter tools to city. That is a rate of 153. So far fewer vehicles, not using this main road, not using this main road through here, and especially not using this roundabout. That's going to be good for traffic, and that's what we want it to be. We also have the tools getting loaded into the station, which is also what we want to see. A lot of traffic over here, though. That's a little bit less good. We might we might want to look into to solving some of this at some point, but I think we're okay for now. Oh, now this right here is what we want to see. We have some machines getting lined up to go out to the train, which is fantastic news. We have our consumers listed in here. We have our suppliers listed in here as well. It would be nice to get a little bit more going on in here. It would be really, really nice to see this pick up a little bit, but it's making progress. It is definitely making progress. We have some planks in here to get loaded onto this train, which is always going to be a good thing. This guy is almost producing about as much as it can, which is slightly concerning. 639 of that is going out to the Brighton Tools factory. 67 of that's going to the machines factory. So this thing is arguably not going to be able to, I mean, I say arguably, there's no arguably about it. This thing is not going to be able to produce enough planks to supply both the tools factory and the machines factory, because the machines factory, as it levels up, is going to be demanding more and more planks. So in terms of options for what we can do about that, there are not that many. Oh wait, no, I tell a lie. There is an option over by Swansea Sawmill. Now here's the oh wait, no, hold on. I was gonna say, here's the thing, right? I said right at the start of this series, we're going to be somewhat realistic with our road layouts, in the sense that I could just build a big bridge from Cardiff across here or Swansea across here. But I don't want to do that. In the same way, we're not doing bridges from Belfast to Scotland or whatever else. Also, I'm going to pause while I look at this, because look at this traffic. Oh, it pains me. Oh no, I'm not looking forward to come back to deal with this. Oh, I'm not looking forward to coming back to deal with any of this. Oh my God, no. Oh no. No wonder I'm losing money. Yeah, this'll genuinely be part of the reason that I'm losing money, as well as the fact that we're using some, no, we're not using trains that are that old out here, but yeah. This will be part of the reason that I'm losing money. This road's cleared out though, which is nice. That's always good. Dundalk's not looking too busy. Dublin's not looking too busy. This is looking horrendous. Oh my God. Oh wow, hold on. Oh, it's completely tailed back. My road infrastructure in Ireland has collapsed. Oh my God. I don't even know where to begin to try and fix any of this. I really don't. I'm actually a little intimidated looking at this, but we will deal with this at some point. We absolutely will try and tackle some of this. I do agree that, as I've seen in many a comment, roundabouts are not the solution to all of my problems, despite what I might tell you. Wow, that is an impressive level of traffic jam that I seem to have unleashed upon myself. Is it even down here? Even this is a little bit rough. That's supposed to be a little country road. It's not supposed to be that busy, but apparently it is. How are we doing down here? Oh my God, it's much the same. Just about every, oh my God, every major road in Ireland is just jam-packed with traffic. Even this one. This is a little back road. Oh no. I don't know that there's any amount of public transport that's going to solve that issue. I really don't. I don't know why I looked at I do know why I looked at this, because we did boats. That's why I looked at it. We did boats because that's what we use to get over here. We use boats and we use planes. How's Scotland holding up? Oh no. Oh no, this is fine. This is just busy. That's fine. How old are these trucks? How are you doing? How are you? 36 years. You're not too bad. Okay, we can do that. Edinburgh seems fine. Glasgow seems like Glasgow. I love the houses in front of the airport. That's amazing. Okay. Little bit unexpected, but sure. That is, yeah, all right. Good for you, Glasgow. That's great. Speaking of planes, by the way, we have got an Airbus A320 available now if we wanted to make that particular upgrade. I can't help but escape the fact that I don't think there's too many people going over to Belfast from Glasgow. I think part of that problem is probably because of the traffic in Ireland in general. I do notice that London to Glasgow is making money. So just because I kind of want to see it, I would like to maybe use, we could use the 757-200. It is 4.1 million per year. This that we're currently using is the 737-100. It is 1.4 million per year. I'm inclined to say that maybe it would be a better idea to go for the A320. It is going to carry more people. It's not a huge jump in terms of cost. It is 65 million up front for all of these, but I'm going to do that just because I think it's a cool looking plane. And also because it brings us down below $1 billion. And admittedly, we did go for orange on these planes as an homage to EasyJet, and this looks kind of like an EasyJet livery, so I kind of like that. Anyway, this was a fun trip out to everywhere else that we've built so far. Manchester is, you know what? I am gonna stop looking at other places because it's just terrifying. It's just really depressing. I'm going to look at what we've been building today. Although, I would like to see if there's anyone going from London to Belfast. Minus 11 million, because this line doesn't make money anymore. Okay. I think it might be an idea to strip out 2 of these planes and then replace the other 2 with A320s. That seems like a great idea. It can carry way less people, but it's also much cheaper to run. And given how much money we've been losing, I think that's probably for the best until we can fix traffic in Ireland, which is surprisingly not going to be both easy or today. Now, in slightly better news, and also not the best news, this new train that we have here is completely empty, but it's moving. You can see what I mean about it. It's not the best news, but it's sort of good news. The bad news is that it's empty. The good news is that it is well on its way to picking up a whole bunch of tools, which it can then take down towards Plymouth and make money, which is kind of what we need it to be doing because it's really not made anything so far. I am looking forward to it doing this. I'm looking forward to it going over this bridge, which I think is going to look pretty cool, all things considered. And you know, I think I was right. That looks pretty good. I like that. I do. I like that a lot. That's probably going to be the shot in the thumbnail of the video as well as this thing going over that bridge. So yeah, that's pretty good. That turned out exactly how I wanted it to. It's also full, which is great. 169 tools on board with a bunch more sitting back here ready to go as well. Traffic in here is starting to sort of figure itself out, which is good. A little bit busy in London, but not the end of the world. I think we'll manage just about okay when it comes to traffic in London. It's also famously bad, so it's not. If anything, if my London traffic goes the way of my Ireland traffic, it's just realistic, right? That's kind of my. That's going to be my justification at the very least. We do have some machines waiting to go over to Brighton as well, which is very exciting. Very, very happy about that one. We have a bunch of machines down here waiting to go to the train, which is good. And if we look at Plymouth, we are starting to deliver machines to Plymouth as well. So hopefully everything kind of works out. It does seem like we're providing everything we need for here. We're not transporting enough coal or iron right now, which is a little bit frustrating, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's just some of the traffic getting stuck at this roundabout, which if we wanted to figure that out, we could just send the trucks through Exeter and then down this road instead of sort of along the side of Exeter, but we'll not worry too much about that one. I think it'll be, I think it'll be fine. I'm also pretty sure we just made like 400,000 from this guy dropping off a whole bunch of, I say a whole bunch of, not that many planks, actually. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 wagons full when this thing came in. So if we could start making a bunch more of those, that would be great. I am very curious to see what 169 tools do for us, though. So I guess we'll take a look and see what exactly those 169 tools are going to do. I'm hoping for a couple of million. I'm hoping for something good. 7 million. Okay. I actually don't mind that. That's actually pretty solid. We're starting to see some tools get onto this train as well, which is probably for the best. I do wonder if we should just send this train back and forth and not have it wait around, because there are a bunch of tools back here already. I think I'm willing to do that. It's not going to fill up on machines for a really, really long time. So I think we just say load if available. I think we just say load if available and then just leave, basically. We'll get more machines in here, but it's gonna take a really long time for that thing to ever potentially fill up with machines. I just think let it go back and forth, let it make some money, and everything should be all right. The good news is the machines got loaded in here, so we should have some of these trucks eventually circling around to take them down to Exeter. We should have the other trucks coming up to take them down to Plymouth. So that'll be another source of income down here in the south west of England, which is exactly what we're looking for. We took some trucks off the road today. We got a new train line in here. We're kind of making the roads a little bit more efficient down this way. And that's kind of what I'm thinking we might need to do with some of Ireland, because I do know that a lot of this traffic in here, in and around Mullingar, is traffic that's trying to take crude oil from the Dublin oil well up into Mullingar oil refinery and then on towards Castlebar chemical plant. So if I could get some trains to do that, that would probably help us out quite considerably. In terms of other bits of traffic, I mean, what are you doing? So you're going down there. Waterford's probably fine, all things considered. I don't think we need to worry too much about Waterford. It is probably the steel coming out of Waterford that's going to get stuck in traffic in its own way. It might a little bit in and around this roundabout, but for the most part, it actually looks like it might be moving okay. So Waterford in general might be fine. It's just everything else that is completely so that's, yeah. It's a mess, man. It's such a mess. Oh, I really don't quite know what the solution to it would be. I really don't. I'm genuinely looking at this with sort of a bit of awe, to be honest with you. There's a part of me that looks at this and I'm slightly proud of the mess that I've made of traffic over here. It's inspiringly bad. That's kind of where I'm at with it. It's inspiringly terrible. And I genuinely don't know what to do with it. I really don't. I know that moving some of these stops, these you know, Victoria Road, Brixton City, moving that into an actual depot would probably be a pretty good idea. How old is this tram? Hold on a minute. How old are the trams in here? Are we still, you know what? They don't look that old. They're only 5 years old. So that's actually not bad. Do we want to swap them out for something? What are we using? What is this? This is a oh, it is the new one. Oh, okay. In that case, we'll keep them. Actually, you know what I might do just while we're here? I'm going to reconnect Galway to this mess is what oh boy, I might really regret this, but I'm going to connect Galway to this mess. I'm really going to regret this. I know I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to do this because I think we can improve this. So obviously this highway that we have going up here is fine. It's backing up because it's busy, but it's not really the problem. It's also not really needed is kind of why I'm completely getting rid of that. This highway I think we're going to keep and probably expand at some point, but my thought process here is I take all of this out, I take all of this back to about there, I bring all of this back to about there, take this guy out, and we want to flatten this entire bit of terrain in here because we do have some new road constructions that we can use. I got them from the Steam Workshop. I think I talked about them in, I don't know if it was the last episode or when I talked about them. I don't know if I talked about them at all. It's been a while. But we have this guy. We have the roundabout interchange. And my thinking is take out this road and bring it sort of, let's see, bring this guy to about here. And then bring this sort of forward a bit. Bring this forward a little bit further. In fact, let me just flatten out some of that terrain as well, so I really know what I'm working with. And I'm going to use this road to sort of measure out where exactly this interchange should go. So it's essentially going to be like here is my thought process. So it's going to be tricky. I can make it smaller. I can also do more junctions. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Never mind. We're not going to be doing that. I can make it a bit smaller, which might not be the worst idea in the world, just to try and fit it into this space. We can do more of a gap between the junctions if we really wanted to. I don't know what that necessarily means. I think that's just these guys. Oh, wow. That's very cool, actually, that you can do that, but that's a bit of a mess. We don't know where about that. Roundabout size, I would argue actually probably should be a decently sized roundabout. So I'm willing to say that we cut about there, and we could go a little further back with that. In fact, maybe we measure it from the other side. If I bring this guy straight out and I disconnect all of this, is that going to be a good enough spot for this thing to be built? Actually, yeah. Although too much slope is definitely a bit of a concern. I don't love that. Not 100% sure how to fix that either. Can I change the highway height down to like 0? What does that do for us? Absolutely nothing. Let's do this and see if that changes anything. It doesn't change a thing. Traffic is on the right side. Special treatment elevated, special treatment underground. We have a few options for how we can do this, but apparently too much slope is going to be a problem, which I don't love. All right, so I guess we will see what happens with this. A lot of the traffic has been pushed around a little bit, so it's going to take a while for it to unbunch itself from spaces like this. But at the very least, we do have a way for traffic to go from Castlebar down into Galway again, other than just these back roads. So hopefully this works a little bit. I really have no idea. I do know that traffic in this game it's less about the road layouts, it's more about the infrastructure and the public transport and things like that. I know that a lot of trains in here would help a little bit. Well, I say a lot of trains would help. I mean, we have this train, we have the Castlebar to Limerick line, which has never made money. It's kind of sad that it's never made money. It's unfortunate that it's never really made money. We have a lot of people wanting to go to Mullingar, which is really quite impressive. A lot of that traffic is going to be sitting there for a while, but hopefully this helps, I guess, is how I'm sort of choosing to look at this. I really don't know what this is going to do or achieve. I'm hoping for good things. with this this little interchange. I kind of wanted to build one of these. I installed, like I said earlier in the video, I haven't played this game in quite a while, but I installed these new roads and interchanges, I should say, weeks and weeks ago. So I've been kind of sitting around doing other things, and I'm like, man, I should put up Transport Fever and see if these new interchanges do anything for us. And at first glance here, they're not really doing a whole lot, but that's probably to be expected with the amount of traffic that we're trying to deal with here. So hopefully it'll do a little something. I don't know that having a roundabout right next to it is a good idea either. That might be something we want to figure out, but hopefully it does a little something. That's all I can hope for. And this roundabout, I don't know what to do about it. I really don't. Now that we have this connection into Galway, we could potentially change this. Maybe this gets changed into something similar. What else have we got in here? We have really just the roundabout interchange or the stack interchange, but it's maybe a little bit too big is my thinking. So maybe I build another one of these. I don't know. I don't know. We could build something down here as well. That would be an option to build a little something in this space, but maybe we just wait and see. Maybe we save all of this for another time, because otherwise this video is going to be 3 hours long if I start getting into traffic stuff now. Okay, so I lied when I said I wasn't going to do more with the roads. I decided to spend a little bit of time building this right here because it was just bothering me looking at all of this. We do have a new road connection straight up this way, which I'm hoping is going to take some of the traffic away from Galway. We obviously have some roundabouts at either end of this thing just because it's kind of the easiest way to connect highways to regular roads. And this also gives us another connection into Mullingar that we didn't have previously with this this bridge, which I think looks interesting. I think it's probably going to be an unreasonably busy road, and I'm probably going to live to regret this connection. But at the very least, it gives us some options that we didn't have previously, so I'm willing to see how this goes. I'm willing to see how traffic handles all of this. We also have this connection that comes down here, so it's kind of another way into Galway if traffic chooses to use it, which they can take it or leave it. I don't really mind either way. At the very least, it does look like traffic is starting to filter through this original new interchange that we have here. It's not backing up in Castlebar the same way it was. It's still not perfect, but it seems like it's starting to get through. I think it's very much going to be a time will tell kind of thing with this interchange because there's a lot going on with it. We have another roundabout down here. I actually decided to connect these two roads together because I figure it might not be the worst idea in the world to kind of give them some options for getting down onto this road and into Mullingar, or well, Galway or Mullingar in sort of a different route. I don't know. I don't love this as a connection. I will be honest. I don't love this. I don't think it looks great. So I'm slightly considering changing it up just because of that alone. It looks hideous as far as I'm concerned. In fact, I'm going to change this up a little bit. It's not the most used interchange. It's been here for a little bit longer while I was working on everything else here. So if I could somehow make this look decent, that would be nice. I'm thinking we come out here. In fact, I'm thinking we do some terrain editing just a little bit. So I think we flatten the land right here, and that should be fine. I think we bring this road straight out here for a little bit, and I think that's all right. I think we go off of about here and maybe try and just level these guys out, which that looks to be about level, so that might be okay. And I think we just curve this around. I know this isn't really much different to what we just had, but it just looks a little bit neater as far as I'm concerned, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. As for the rest of this, we'll turn the entire thing into a 6-lane road for just a second, and then we'll go in and say, well, maybe it should only, how do I want to do this? We probably don't need 3 lanes coming off of here. We can have 3 lanes coming into the roundabout because I think that makes the most sense. I don't really know. Maybe we just flip this entire, we just do that. A little bit of sort of asymmetry in, well, we don't need 3 lanes here either is kind of my problem. So maybe this entire section just gets flipped into something like that. And that just instantly looks just a bit neater. I think it doesn't really look any different, does it? It looks exactly the same as what we had. Maybe what I'm missing is just a bunch of trees around it. So let's get a slightly smaller brush and do some rocks first, so I can get a little bit of detailing in here for all the terrain that had to be blasted away to make this possible. So just some rocks in there seems fine. A few rocks in here for where the old road used to be seems like a pretty good idea. And then I'm just going to hit this with just a bunch of trees, just to sort of really try and hide our crimes a little bit, make this look a little bit more interesting, and just make these roads look a little bit more interesting as well, because I just think it kind of needs it. I've not done too much with trees today, to be fair. I've really not. I've been good. I've behaved. So I think just right here at the end, right before we wrap things up, just a little bit of work with some landscaping. See, I feel like I've earned it. You know, I've been I've been on my best behavior and stayed away from the tree brush for the most part today. So I think a little bit of a tree brush now is okay. So while all of my roads are figuring themselves out, I wanted to take a look at where we're making money and where we're losing money. Now, thankfully, the logs to planks machines thing is making money, which is kind of incredible. I love seeing a $20 million balance on that line. That is kind of a big deal, is what that is. That's very, very good for us. That's wonderful, actually. Absolutely love to see that. We don't really have anything else from that new area in here. Actually, no, we do. This one. This guy's making some money as well. It's moving a bunch of tools. It's probably moving some machines back and forth. So that's very, very good. On the flip side, we are losing almost 6 million on the Castlebar to Limerick sort of light rail line that we set up, which isn't very good. Belfast to Mullingar, almost 5 million being lost. London Steel to Machines is losing 2.7, although those are probably some older trains. We could do something with that. Mullingar to Limerick, basically all my passenger lines in Ireland are doing terrible things for us. London to Glasgow, not really making much money. Belfast to Glasgow, not really making much money. On the flip side, we do have London to Belfast with a little bit of money from the A320s, but we could be doing better. We could be doing a lot worse. I mean, the Liverpool oil fuel docks line is still making a ton of money. We're doing okay, but this Castlebar to Limerick line, I hate that it's losing so much. I really do. I think before we go ahead and wrap things up for today, I think we need to do something about this. I think we need to look at these vehicles and we need to see how much they're costing us. So 2.2 million per year to run one of these locomotives. So if we go to modify one of these guys, it is just one of these, right? It is just this thing. That's interesting. Okay, I kind of thought, okay, so anything else is going to be more expensive per year by quite a margin at that. If I was to get rid of you and add you, I mean, it's 282 meters, so that's instantly completely unnecessary. This commuter train is more expensive, but it can carry 99 people versus 57 on this. So 3.2 here versus 2.2 here. So if we do 2.2, that's 8.8 million per year. Two of these would be 6.4 per year. It would definitely be an option, is kind of what I'm thinking. If I wanted to sort of maintain this line, this is a longer train, but it does carry more people. Obviously the TGV, quite a long train, very fast train, a little bit unnecessary. I kind of want to go for this. I do. I kind of want to go for this and see if it kind of works out. So let's go for sort of that teal-ish color. I think that's lighter. I don't think it really matters. We're probably not going to have this line for too much longer. let's just do, how fast are these guys? These guys are faster as well, not by much, by 3 miles per hour. But I think what we do is we modify. I think we sell these guys. I didn't want to sell all of them. I'm an idiot. That's fine. that's maybe what we need to do. But I'm not willing to give up on this line just yet. I want to give it a chance. I do. So we're going to buy one of these. We're going to duplicate. We're going to put it on the Castle Bar to Limerick line. And we're just going to see what happens. It's obviously a lot of money to buy those new trains, but it is cheaper to run the 2 of these than it is to run the 4 that we had previously. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully good things come of this. That was really loud. I don't know how loud that was in the video, but that thing was really loud with the horn going off there. That was something. Yeah, hopefully this works out. Hopefully it being a little bit faster, more modern, whatever gets people interested. At the very least, that is 2.6 million less per year in running costs. So that's good. That's something anyway. So I suppose we should probably leave things there for today. We've made some pretty drastic changes to some of our roads and our lines in Ireland, and I'm not 100% sure that they're gonna necessarily work out, but I'm willing to find out. Perhaps more importantly though, things are working out really well down by Exeter and Plymouth. We have planks coming in, we have logs going out, we have machines ready to go out, we have a bunch of tools sitting around ready to be delivered to the cities, and we are seeing a decent amount of money coming out of what we've created down here today. So hopefully that's going to continue to be a thing. We can get some machines going out to Canterbury, London, and Brighton, I think is the other one. Hopefully sooner than later. Hopefully we'll kind of be able to balance things a little bit. We might have to bring some planks down from Wales, down from Swansea to help things along a little bit, but we'll see what ends up happening in the next episode, because that is going to be doing us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, there was a bit of a weird pause there. I'm a little bit out of practice. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.